Good evening, Tottenham fans. Welcome to a new episode of YouTubers Predict. I've got some more positive YouTubers from the Tottenham world, all absolutely more optimistic than they would have been if Thomas Frank was actually here. For me, if Thomas Frank was going into this North London derby, I would be predicting a 3-0, 4-0 win for Arsenal. But as it stands, the new guy, Igor Tudor, has come in and he's really gave us an uplift in motivation. Now, we don't know much about him, but everything so far that we've seen from him, what we've heard from him, it's all been positive, and he's really made a huge impression on the fan base. Now, will this make a difference going into North London derby? For me, we still have a massive amount of injuries, so that's going to be a concern. We're not going to be able to bring on quality off the bench, so it's going to have to be a 90 minutes slog for Spurs. But if we just get into Arsenal's faces, if we can just push them, press them, get the crowd behind the crowd behind the boys, if we can just give it our all, I think the fans will be happy regardless of the score. But saying that, I think because of the slipping at the moment that Arsenal have been having lately, the 0-0 draw with Nottingham Forest, the 1-1 with Brentford, the 2-2 just recently with Wolves after being 2-0 up, they keep bottling it. Now, if Spurs can really pressurize them in this game, I really think that we can get something out of it. Now, because of the amount of injuries we have, I'm going to go for a draw in this one. I'm going to give it a Desmond 2-2. And I think for me and for most of Spurs fans would be very much happy with that, especially if we put in a good performance with it. Now, I've got some other YouTubers on as well. I've got 2 debutants coming in as well. First time on the show. So please, anybody that comes on the show today, please hit that like, hit that subscribe, go to their channel. I'll pin their channels to a link in the comment section. So further ado, I will bring my first debutant in, and it's Billy. And here's what Billy had to say.
Hello guys, Billy T here. Delighted to be joining you on a Tottenham Logic channel. The nerves have well and truly kicked in. It's safe to say I am absolutely bricking it for the weekend. Massive game now for sure. Do you know what? If Thomas Frank was a manager, I would be going into this game with absolutely no hope whatsoever. And I think it's funny, isn't it, how a change of manager can do big things with your mentality. I'm now going it slightly hopeful. You know, I'm not expecting us to go there and smash them up as much as I'd like that. You know, they are an incredible team. But having said that, we just badly needed a vibe change around Tottenham. And if anyone's seen that photo today of the players in a restaurant in London, then, you know, that's what we needed, isn't it? A bit of vibes back. Heaven forbid they don't get food poisoning. I think it'll be really interesting to see what happens. Interesting to see how we line up in particular. I think, you know, judging by what Igor Tudor usually does, we'll probably go for a back 5, which might help us out a little bit. Obviously, the injury problems are going to be a concern too, but I do think we've got more of a chance now of Igor Tudor than we did before. So I think we'll go for a back 5. I think Arsenal will be terrified after their recent slip up against Wolves and Brentford, and they're there for the taking. You know, I think, you know, if we can keep it tight in the early days, try and nick a goal, then, you know, I think it'll be fantastic. You know, I'd love a win, of course, as any North London derby. The atmosphere will be brilliant as well with a tifo, but I think we might draw this one. I'm going for a 2-2 draw, which I would be delighted with. It would be a great start for Igor Tudor. So come on, Igor, and up the Spurs.
Thanks, Billy. Great debut there, mate. And he's gone for the same score as me. He's gone for a 2-2. And he's right, though. Arsenal are for the taking. If we scored first, I think the nerves would massively kick in for them. I think if they scored first, I think it would relax them. But I still don't think that they could get a 1-0 lead over the line. I still think nerves will hit them just being 1-0 up. So we've got a chance in this game to really put it on them. So let's see what happens. Next up, I have my second debutant is Cookie from the 2 Marks show. And here's what he had to say.
Yeah, morning Alan, it's Cookie from the 2 Marks here. Just giving you what I think what will happen in North London derby on Sunday. Obviously a big game for both teams. Arsenal looking to win to keep their Premier League Championship crown push on, and obviously Tottenham need every point they can get, being down at the bottom of the table. For me, you know, Tottenham have got to have a right go here, Alan. You know, got to be up for it. Hopefully, the manager will have, I don't know, not necessarily put tactics in place, because I don't think it'd have been there long enough, but just get into them enough to maybe raise their game a little bit compared to what the dross we've been seeing just lately. So for me, I think it'll be tight as long as Tottenham turn up. Obviously, Arsenal have had a couple of disappointing results, let's say, against Wolves and Brentford, and they need to get rolling again. But I think it'll be tight, Alan, and I'm looking at, I think it'll be 1-1. Let's hope it's a really good game, mate. Let's hope all the crowd's well up for it, and let's just hope it's a really good day, and Spurs can nick something. Have a great day, mate.
Thanks, Cookie, mate. Another great debut from you and another predicted draw. So far we have 3 draws, 2-2 twice and a 1-1. At least now no one's predicting a loss just yet, which is absolutely brilliant. No one's predicted a win yet either. So everybody's sitting on the fence. That fence is going to get heavy if there's any more predicted draws. Now, next up, I have Harry, and here's what Harry had to say.
Hi guys, Harry Scarf here, football content creator and YouTuber Autism Advocate. Thank you firstly for having me. North London Derby is a big one, and they also say don't fall in love with an interim manager. Igor Tudor, let me tell you that, he's come in, and I like what he said. We want to win games, dare us to do, play the Tottenham way, you know, get in the squad as well to meet up, have dinner. I've liked everything so far, and that gives me hope going into this game. Arsenal dropped far more points in 2026. We're talking an awful lot. 2 draws now in a row, potential to make it 3 games without a win, could be 3 draws, could be worse for Arsenal. But we've got to be real also. Although we're excited, we've got to also realise that we should focus on ourselves. Let me just add, we should focus on ourselves rather than look at Arsenal. That's something that will change now. Frank's not here and Tudor is, you know, here. That's coming from someone that liked Frank. You know, we focus on the opposition too much and the negatives. I believe, you know, we weren't inside the dressing room, but that was the feeling. When I say we've got to be real, Arsenal are top side. They're a top side. They could have Havertz and Odegaard returning. They've got strength and depth. As the game goes on, you've got to fancy Arsenal more with what they can bring off the bench. We need to come out flying. We need to get the first goal. We need to be bold. I think we should be trying to win the game. Context is important. Hindsight, we haven't got the beauty of it in this case. But a draw, I think, wouldn't be a disastrous result at all. We should play to win. Absolutely. Tudor will do that. I think Arsenal will dominate and have large parts of the ball. But I believe that we're aggressive, we'll be bold, and when we get the ball, we're going to go really, really quickly. So I'm excited, but at the same time, I look at it and go, we still haven't got many senior players available. He's missing what? Let's be honest with you. He's been missing, I'd say, at least 65, 70%, if not more, of his squad, Tudor. So he's got it really tough. But we all got to be behind him. We've got to be the 12th man on Sunday. Tifo, I just think everything about it is pointing towards Tottenham getting something in an Arsenal potential banana skin. I'm going to go 1-1. Of course I want us to win this game. It goes without saying. But I think that's realistic. Arsenal are top side, but we've got a little bit of momentum with the new manager coming in. A lot of unknown. Form goes out the window completely in North London derbies, but in particular now, Frank's gone. But come you Spurs.
Thanks, Harry. And another draw has been predicted. Everybody is sitting on the fence. There's only one guy left that could change all of that. Now, is Luke as positive as us? Is he negative? Is he actually going to predict to win? Let me see what he has to say.
What's up, guys? Luke here from Spotlight on Spurs, and a big shout out to Alan for asking me to come on to give some views on the upcoming fixture, that North London derby against them lot down the road. They obviously come into it as favourites, being that they are top of the league. Obviously had a couple of disappointing results recently and dropped some points, so they're going to want to get back to winning ways, unfortunately for Spurs. But we have what we hope we have, that new manager bounce. He seems to come in and get impact results immediately. He seems to pick up a few results very, very quickly, which is obviously a positive thing, and that's exactly what Spurs need. But there's still loads of injuries. He's not a miracle worker. He's not just going to be able to turn things around immediately without at least getting a few players back. Very interesting to see what sort of lineup he goes with, how he sort of goes around the injuries, and obviously who's available. Solanke potentially got an injury today in terms of being out or something to do with his throat and all this sorts of stuff. So there's plenty of different little factors. The Man City game the night before is also going to be key in it as well. If they win, then they close that gap and they really start putting pressure on Arsenal. If they lose, potentially is the pressure off a little bit. Pressure's on both teams though. They're going for the title. We need to start picking up some points to get out and away from that relegation zone. So key battles all over the pitch, but we definitely need a better performance. We need to see some fight, show some hunger, and try to see if we can get out of this relegation fight, because we're definitely in it at this moment in time. If you haven't already, make sure you go like, subscribe to everyone in this video, and as always, come on, you Spurs.
Cheers, Luke. And so none of us have predicted a win. Well, who cares? I think we'd all be happy with a draw anyway. But at the end of the day, you never know what's going to happen in a game of football. We'd be happy with a draw. If we obviously going into this game with Thomas Frank, none of us would be predicting a draw. I know that for a fact. He was really dragging this side down. The mentality was going through the floor. And all of a sudden now we just seem to have this little bit of boost, a little bit more belief that we can actually go there. We've only got 13 players training today. So, but Tudor said that's enough to do what we got to do on Sunday. So he's saying all the right things. He's just got to prove it on the pitch now. Will he prove it on the pitch? That's the main thing. And Luke was right. We really do need to get the win for ourselves. It's not just about Arsenal's title challenge. It's about us staying in the Premier League too. So we need to fight too. We need to make sure that we can get the points on the board. If we got a victory tomorrow on Sunday, it would be absolutely, we'd all be absolutely ecstatic. We really would. But it would take some doing to do that. If that actually happened to Arsenal, I just think that they would absolutely fall off a cliff after that. I think their confidence would be shot. Let's hope that happens then, isn't it? Thank you for watching, and come on, you Spurs.